So I'm about to go on an e-bike ride with my mom on her AiPAS e-bike here, and I brought my Puckipuppy Labrador Pro, and I figured this is a perfect opportunity for me to compare these two e-bikes, because these are both solid options if you're looking to get an e-bike. This one's a bit more expensive, but I had a great time on both of these, and they both have some awesome features. So first, let's start with the price. I believe these got some sales going on now. There's some Black Friday, end of the year sales, so the prices might vary, but right now you can get the AiPAS M1 Pro Xterrain ST e-bike for $949, and you can get 3% off with code QUEST, which I think is about $28 or so right now. And they also have a step-up version. They have the M1 Max, which is just a little bit better. I think it had nicer suspension and brakes. And over here we have the Puckipuppy Labrador Pro, and I believe right now this e-bike is going for $14.99, and I have a $50 off code QUEST. Now, I will say the prices on e-bikes fluctuate a lot depending on what sales they got going on. So I picked this purple one out because it's my mom's favorite color, and she wanted a nice, pretty purple e-bike. She got a helmet to match it too, which is pretty cool. But you can also get this in 4 total colors. And they have a few options on their site. You can get it like with and without racks and baskets. Like you can get it fully equipped with a front and back basket if you want, or you can just get it with the rack on the back. And I believe both of these come with a key that you can unlock and remove the battery. So you're gonna get 2 regular keys on each of these. Now, one of my favorite features I like on here is on the little control panel here, you have a USB charge port. Your phone's running low, you need to plug in a USB-A, you can do it right here through your e-bike. I've been on a couple scooters and e-bikes where you can charge something through it. It's kind of nice, right? Because you're rolling around on a big battery. As long as you get good range, you can use a little bit of that extra battery for other stuff. Sometimes I need to charge my cameras. So the Puckipuppy Labrador Pro, I like the e-bikes. They got dog names for all of them, boxers and bulldogs. I think they did a good job with that. But this one also comes in 4 different colors, and this is the Pro version. They sell a non-Pro version. It's like a couple $100 cheaper, not as powerful. But I do want to say I was very impressed with how many accessories came with the Puckipuppy bike here. It came with a cup holder. It came with 2 mirrors, which I borrowed the other one for another bike. It's got a rack on the back. Came with a bike lock, which is nice. And then I don't have it here today, but you can see it in my full-length video. Came with a nice cover, which I have a full-length video on each of these. If you want to see a more in-depth actual riding video, see it in action. I'm just talking about them today. But I was very impressed with all the accessories this came with. And this actually has a cool little feature that I like. I don't know if I've seen it on too many e-bikes, but I can pop off the screen here and look, you can't turn it on and use it without the screen apparently. So you got a nice little lock. This is like the size of, you know, when you go to a restaurant and they're like, oh, your food will be ready in like 20 minutes, hold this buzzer. It's like the same size. Now these bikes are similar, right? The AiPAS M1 here is a step-through bike, and the Puckipuppy here is a step-over bike. We got that nice rail on the top. They both have dual suspension. You got front fork suspension on either. It feels like the suspension on the Puckipuppy is just a little bit better. And from my experience riding it, this is one of the smoothest rides that I've been on for an e-bike. This one does a solid job, but I was very impressed with how smooth this one was. I had another bike that seemingly had better suspension, and it had suspension in the seat post, but this one was a much smoother ride on my typical trip that I take. And honestly, the seat on the Puckipuppy is just so much more comfortable. I have to say it's the most comfortable e-bike seat I've been on yet. It's a little bit wider, a little bit thicker than the AiPAS seat. And almost every e-bike, after 30 minutes, I go to stand up and I'm like, oh, geez, this hurts. Nothing on this one. Rode this all day, no pain. Didn't have to put a seat cover on it. Now, you do have headlights on both of them. Let me see if I can turn them on. Now, I don't do too much riding at night, but the light on the AiPAS bike is just a little bit bigger. I think it stretches out. This one's brighter, but it's not as big on the ground. But they both got a headlight on there. And the horn. Well, all you get is the bell, which I'm liking the bell more and more. Every time I say on your left when I try to pass somebody, they jump to the left or they freak out. But you do the bell, it's so gentle, and they just know. I don't know. I got to use the bell more. And on this guy over here, we got just a little buzzer. The buzzer's not as good. I'm learning. The bell is like a quiet, it's gentle. You hear it from behind. You can hear it further away. This one is just jarring. Ugh. I do appreciate this one having a louder one, but I've been on stuff where it has a horn and a bell. I think that's nice. You want a loud horn, but then a quiet bell to just let people know you're passing. A bell's got to cost like a few bucks to add onto a bike. So the AiPAS M1 Pro is equipped with a 48-volt, 17.5 amp-hour battery. And it says on the site that they got an 1800-watt motor. I couldn't find out if that's the constant or the peak. I'm learning some of these companies tell you the details in one way, and some of them, they don't tell it to you in the same way. You got to figure it out, or you just don't know. And the Puckipuppy Labrador Pro has a 48-volt, but 20 amp hour battery. And this one says it only has a 1350 watt peak on the motor. Now, I do have to say, I haven't done full range tests on both of these, which I might have to do soon. I didn't know that the battery bar on this was the battery bar because it was full. Like, I was riding it all day, like 20 miles, and the battery was still full. I'm like, that can't be the battery bar if it's still full. And I checked the manual and I was like, no, that's the battery bar. So I'm actually eager to do a range test on this because I feel like it was going forever. And 20 amp hours usually gives me 20 miles or so on a scooter, but on a bike with pedal assist, like, you can get a little bit farther. But technically you have a more powerful motor over here. And this one, I got a faster top speed on. I did have to go into the secret menu and unlock a top speed, but I was going like 36 miles an hour on this, which that's pretty fast. Like on an e-bike, on a big old fat tire e-bike, 36 is fast. I was able to get close on this, but I stopped at around like 30, 31 miles an hour. I think it just wouldn't let me go higher. And honestly, most people they're not trying to go 30 plus on an e-bike. Now on the AiPAS M1 Pro, you got a little half twist throttle here on the right. And I've had a couple bikes with this now, but on the Puckipuppy Labrador Pro, we have a thumb throttle on the left side, which it makes sense if you got to switch through the gears on a bike, because this has the 8-speed Shimano. The AiPAS only has a 7-speed Shimano. But if you need 2 fingers to switch through the gears, you don't want to also use them for the throttle. So I thought it was weird at first having a throttle on the left, but now I'm like, you know what, it makes sense. It's not that bad. And if you're using the pedal assist anyway, you're not touching the throttle. Now, both of these bikes have 5 pedal assist modes. You can use the throttle or you can use the pedal assist, but the Puckipuppy uses a torque and cadence sensor, which I believe is a little bit more accurate than some of the standard options you get, because the AiPAS M1 Pro has a speed sensor in it. And I feel like I was getting a better response from the Puckipuppy. It's hard to tell exactly because you got all the different gears. Sometimes it's more responsive in like pedal assist 3 than it is 4 or 5. But while I don't exactly know like a max range on either, but I believe they advertise an 80-mile max range on the AiPAS M1 Pro. And on the Labrador Pro, they only advertise an 80-mile max range, but I think with the higher amp hours on the battery, I'll probably get more range on this. I still got to do the side-by-side test. Bikes just go longer than scooters. It's easier to do a range test on a scooter for me because I'm having more fun. It's easier to maneuver the scooter to get in and out of places, and like some of them just go faster. Now they both have 26-inch by 4 fat tires here, and we got the Chow Yangs on the AiPAS, and we got the Black Cats on the Puckipuppy. Now, one of the major differences is the brakes. You have dual brakes on both, but you have mechanical disc brakes here, and you have hydraulic brakes on the Puckipuppy. Now, I think anything that's going over 25, 30 might need hydraulic brakes. This one goes a little bit faster, but it has the mechanical brakes. The Puckipuppy, I was very impressed. Their Logan brand brakes. It's got really good stopping power, and they've been doing a solid job, at least on the rides that I've taken it on. Now, I don't know if I mentioned the assembly on both of the bikes. It's pretty similar. You attach the front tire, you got to tighten a few things, put the rack on. I will say that the Puckipuppy, the manual stops like halfway through the bike. It's like for a different bike or something, or for one without all the accessories. But it's pretty easy to figure out how to put the rack on or whatever. Now, I think the frames are made out of a different material. We have like a premium alloy here on the AiPAS M1 Pro. And the Puckipuppy uses aerospace grade 6061 aluminum, which I think that's what they use if you get the max version of this. It's just a little bit nicer frame. Now, both of the bikes have a similar weight. I had to double check. I thought this bike weighed more. Sometimes I see how much it weighs on the box and I forget that that's including all the packing materials and stuff. But the AiPAS M1 Pro weighs 3 pounds more. This guy's 88 pounds, and the Puckipuppy Labrador Pro is only 85 pounds. But they do have a different total capacity. This one says that it can hold up to 400 pounds, which is a lot on an e-bike. But the AiPAS M1 Pro says up to 500 pounds, so you're going to be able to store a little bit more on here. Now, these bikes are similar. This is a step through, this is a step over. Both companies make all kinds of bikes. You can get step overs from AiPAS, you can get step throughs from Puckipuppy, but they're both pretty solid rides overall. I will say this one is a lower cost option at the end of the day. It's about $500 or so cheaper. You can go a little bit faster on this AiPAS bike here if you unlock the speed. It's only going to go a little bit faster, but honestly, like right out of the box, both of these are very solid. The speed's really good. Not everybody's trying to push the limits on an e-bike. Most people I see riding, they're going the same speed as they would on a regular bike. They just don't have to pedal as hard or try as hard or pedal at all. But I am impressed with both of these bikes. I have taken them on the beach, rode around on the sand. They handle the city terrain well. They both have similar tires, right? So you can take them through the dirt, the sand. I will say, I do think you're just gonna get more range out of this. I don't have an exact range. It's hard for me to get the full range test. I do, however, want to say I've been on several e-bikes by now, and I've been on e-bikes cheaper than this one, e-bikes more expensive than this one. This is the most comfortable e-bike I've been on. Now, the suspension on this one's really nice. The seat's really comfortable, and it gave me such a smooth ride. They both have similar handlebar setups and grips. You got nice palm rests on both of them. And while I did get a little bit more range out of the Puckipuppy here, the AiPAS was a little bit faster. If you're like, nah, bro, I need speed. I need to go as fast as I can, which I don't think you would be looking at a step through or a fat tire e-bike if you're a speed demon trying to go as fast as you can. But this bike was just so comfortable. I was surprised. Like, I didn't put a seat cover on it. And usually when I don't do that, I'm like, you're gonna regret this by the end of the day. And then I get off after hours of riding and I'm like, not bad at all. Again, if you're looking at either of these bikes, I have full-length videos on these. Now, I do have a code quest on both their websites, AiPASbike.com and Puckipuppy.com. I think it's $50 off Puckipuppy and it's 3% off at AiPAS, which if you're spending a lot, that 3% could be a lot. And if there's any e-bikes out there that you're looking into, you want me to do a first ride or maybe drop a comparison video on it, drop a comment and let me know. I literally learn about most of the e-bikes and scooters that I try out through the comment section, so keep leaving those comments and let me know. You guys are like my industry insiders. Look, there's so many bikes and scooters out there, it's impossible to know them all. I need a team of people to help me. And look, I know we didn't do any riding in this video, but bruh, people are crazy. If you're getting out there riding, wear a helmet. Wear a helmet! All right, later, my dudes.